Welcome to Lexington, Kentucky. Record chill in the air this morning, about 1 degree to be exact. But the Kentucky Wildcats right now have the hottest offense in the country, averaging over 90 points a game as they play host to the Georgia Bulldogs. He is John Sundvold. I am Mike Morgan. Great to be with you. And John, we've seen a lot of great Kentucky offenses over the years under Coach Cal, but this one appears to be special.
Mike, I thought walking over here to Rupp Arena from the hotel, I thought I was going to some big circus of entertainment. My goodness, this is an electric offensive team that Coach Cal has built. First in points, nearly 50% from the field, 40% from three, 2-to-1 assist ratio. The numbers just keep coming at you. Fun team to watch. They get up and down and they put big numbers, especially in this building.
And again, the big news coming out earlier today when we were at shoot-around. Wow. The news was not that good for that man, Big Z, Zvonimir Ivisic. He was still not eligible. Then an hour later, they got the email from the NCAA. He is eligible. He is expected to play today. Meanwhile, the Georgia Bulldogs, hey, they're one of 5 unbeaten road teams on this season. Mike White's crew has won 11 out of the last 12. Should be a terrific matchup in front of a great crowd here in the Commonwealth.
Free Big Z, and we'll see him tonight.
Mike Morgan, John Sundvold with you here on a Saturday evening. Packed house. Georgia in black, Kentucky in white, and you see the first shot by the Dogs is a 3 by their top scorer, Jabri Abdur-Rahim.
Solid offensive set. They're not afraid to get Abdur-Rahim open and early shots. Mike White said, we still want to push the pace. We want good shots, just no live ball turnovers. Let's not let this Kentucky team get off to a big start.
See the starting 5 for Kentucky. Baseline jumper hit by Aaron Bradshaw, the 7-footer out of New Jersey.
Slowly but surely playing better on the offensive end. Had a good game against Mississippi State. 5 of 8 from the field in that ball game.
Kentucky, the #1 offense in the country. Mike White's team playing some terrific defense and some good offense here to start things off. Sanahara on a driving bucket.
Doesn't shoot much, only plays 12 minutes a game, but he's been in that starting lineup since he's been healthy. A Division II transfer, Division II Player of the Year last year.
Jump ball, arrow goes to Kentucky. And there you see Mike White in his 2nd year. People forget the stuff that he did as the Florida head basketball coach. 4 consecutive tournaments. They not only made the tournament, but they won at least 1 game in all 4. The highlight was an Elite 8 run before being knocked out by South Carolina.
Solid on the defensive end, this Georgia team. Rebound the ball well. They will try to stay back from the penetration of this Wildcat squad.
Wagner to Reeves. 3-ball misfires. But it's going to be a foul on the floor on Georgia going for the rebound. Kentucky's size certainly can cause some issues, as you see Coach Calipari, who recently picked up his 400th win in just 516 games as the head coach of Kentucky.
Somewhat called out to fans for this ballgame.
Yeah, he was very adamant. He wants a home crowd that's not just in attendance but loud. Great hustle by Wagner to pick it up. The shot clock is under 10. Quickly into front court. Reeves on a drive, bumped and fouled. And the foul will go against Georgia. That's Sunahara, and he just picked up his 2nd.
Well, we've mentioned the stats, but one thing about this Kentucky team is their ability to move the basketball, which makes your defense shift. Whether you're in a man or a zone, they've got enough good shooters. They share the ball 2-to-1 assist ratio. And because their percentages are so high from different angles, they're very difficult to defend.
A couple of things that we have seen out of this Kentucky team through 16 games and 4 conference games that, quite frankly, we haven't seen over the last few years around here. #1, they're just much more skilled. It's a better shooting team, and they rarely turn it over. Scooping drive just misses the mark by Wagner, and the rebound reeled in by Melendez.
So let's think of Kentucky's offense, though. In the last few years, we were Oscar Tshiebwe's show, right?
Yep.
And if you had Oscar, he wasn't leaving the lane very often, so that didn't allow for a lot of movement and penetration just like that. And so this offense is more open to driving, kicking. They don't have bigs that stand in the post and get in the way.
And they're all willing passers.
Oh, no doubt.
That is a huge plus. A lot of accolades, a lot of All-Americans, but all unselfish.
A girth advantage inside for Russell Chiwa. He's a big guy, 270 pounds, He's a load inside to handle for Kentucky.
Give Georgia the basket. Melendez will get credit, the goaltend on Justin Edwards, and a good start for Georgia, out to a 7-4 lead.
And Mike, I've seen Georgia, you've seen Georgia, not surprised by the good start. This is a solid ball club, used to winning, and I think a lot of things changed when they were down 17 at Florida State, and Tallahassee came back and won that game, and things have changed since then. Opened up on the road at Missouri, played outstanding, won their first one on the road in the league.
Reeves, dipsy-do, reverse layup, and a great take by the veteran.
Reeves gets those looks because he's an outstanding jump shooter. You got to get to him early. All he has to do is ball fake, put it on the floor, no weak side help.
Third leading scorer in the Southeastern Conference at over 19 points per game. What do you want to see out of Georgia offensively?
Again, continue to run the stuff they run. They look for the jump shots inside. They'll play off the big man inside. Not for him to necessarily score, but he can make passes.
Melendez had a good drive, but could not finish.
Wagner good off the bounce, gets to the rim easily.
Knocked right in our direction. Our officiating crew, by the way, Steven Anderson, Owen Short, and Rob Rourke. As you see, the two backups coming into the game, and these are not your two average backups. Rob Dillingham and Reed Sheppard are two freshman phenoms. They are both in the top 5 in the league in assists. I've never seen this, Sonny. Two guys on the same team, top 5 assists, both of them freshmen, and both of them come off the bench.
As they walk in the game, the crowd explodes. They both score the ball, they share the ball. Great defensive players. And not afraid of big moments. They'll take the biggest shots in the biggest moments that they have to play.
Pass inside. The ultimate glue guy drawing the foul. That is Trey Mitchell. I mentioned the assist to turnover ratio. 4 of the top 10 of the SEC are on this Kentucky roster. 3 of them are guards. The other one is Trey Mitchell. And Trey Mitchell is one of the keys to this game. As you see the assists per game, Reed Sheppard and Rob Dillingham, Ziegler leading the way. Another big win for Tennessee today as they blew out Alabama. Nobody's beating Tennessee right now in Knoxville the way they're playing. But I think that when you talk to Coach Cal, for example, today, he told us to have a guy like Mitchell who can play the 4 and still be so good with the basketball, a willing passer, not make many mistakes, and is such an advantage. And what a pickup he has been for this team to round out the lineup.
So what you're talking about with Kentucky, you've got young players and a couple of veterans. Same thing Georgia has, right? They've got young talent. Demery's an outstanding freshman guard. We'll see Blue Kane. And then the older guys, Jabri Abdur-Rahim just hit his second 3. The mixture of young and old works for both of these squads.
Reeves has it knocked out of bounds. Our first media timeout. And Coach Cal's been begging for the crowd to get loud. That's exactly what they do.
Hey BBN, guess what? I'm free. See y'all tonight at the game, and I thank you all for the support. Go BBN.
Yeah, Big Z is ready to go. In fact, he's about to check in and make his Kentucky debut. This is Kentucky basketball in a nutshell, right? Fans actually spent $4,000 for a billboard across the street from the NCAA. Hashtag Free Big Z. They've been waiting for dividends on a decision. They finally got one this afternoon, and the 7'2" Croatian is about to make his Kentucky debut.
It was Buddy on Twitter at Big Blue Bud. They got it started. They put the sign up across the NCAA. I don't know if that meant anything or not, but all of a sudden now he's eligible. A guy from Croatia, last 2 years played in Montenegro, which sounds like quite a place to visit. I've never been there.
I haven't either. But I'd like to think, Sonny, if I ever got in some type of a bind, you would raise enough money to free Morgan billboard. I know you would do that, the kind of guy that you are.
He averaged 11 points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks per game in the under-20 Euro Championship. Crowd is on their feet.
I mean,
welcome to SEC play.
Welcome to SEC basketball. Welcome to Kentucky basketball. He's number 44 in white. He's on the block right now. Reeves throws up a runner and misses. Ivisic is a typical European player in a lot of ways in that he's big, but he has a really good outside touch and overall handle.
7'2". I watched him warm up today. He's got a pure jump shot from outside. So my guess would be a typical European player, right?
Yep.
Handle it, pass it, shoot it, face it up from outside.
Trey Mitchell whistled for the foul. That's his first.
What a great start by this Bulldog squad.
more than held their own through the opening stanza plus here.
You start a point guard, Georgia does, and then you bring in the veteran Justin Hill, who will play a lot of minutes. He's very good with the basketball. Again, another guy that takes big shots.
Shewa gets an offensive rebound. He's guarded by Big Z right now. Drive and a block by Big Z. His first meaningful moment in a Kentucky uniform. Mitchell spot and fire, misses everything.
I thought maybe they would reward him on the offensive end.
I thought so too.
Let him establish himself. Let him have a touch.
He was rim running. He got to the other end of the floor quickly. Strong take, stripped of the basketball, out of bounds. Melendez.
Known for his shot blocking, his ability to move his feet and get to the ball. He doesn't buy fakes. Long reach, easy block. We do not see Abdur-Rahim take it to the rim that often.
What a story. Big Z. You know, he actually went home, and they told him, you can go home for a couple weeks around the holidays. Go see your family. Take advantage of the time away, and that's going to be a turnover on Georgia.
You know, he lost 20 pounds. Had some stomach illnesses, obviously getting used to American food. A lot of stress in his life, in his world when he came here. But the one thing he said about Kentucky, I love the environment, I love the fans, I've never been coached this way. So when they sent him home, it wasn't like they worried that he wouldn't come back.
No, he never even contemplated quitting or giving up on his dream to play Kentucky basketball.
Good matchup between the
take and thunders it home.
Weak side defense, where are you? But again, you get chest to chest with Reeves, what we've seen Antonio do this season, more than he did a year ago. Put it on the floor, take it to the rim.
Clear path to the bucket. Back to a tie ball game, 10-all.
Justin Hill, slow start in his point position. Doesn't look comfortable.
Thomason, a great offensive weapon, but in danger of turning it over here, and Dillingham comes up with the loose change, ahead to Reeves all the way, banks it home, count the basket and a foul!
It starts on one end with the defense. Denial of the basketball and then pick it up and get it to the other end. Let's go back to Antonio Reeves. Not afraid to attack, doesn't sidestep, doesn't Euro step. He takes a straight line to the rim and challenges the defender to get in the way and take a charge. Extremely tough to do.
Third leading scorer in the SEC, one of the top three-point shooters in the Southeastern Conference. And as you mentioned, Sonny, he's added that penetration to his game, much more aggressive now this year. Remember, he was the sixth man of the year last year in the SEC. He is a perennial starter in this, his final campaign in Lexington.
Had the 30 points against Louisville, double figures in every game but one.
Georgia trying to stop some of the bleeding. That won't do it. An air ball fired up by Demery. Mitchell whips it over to Sheppard, spots up for a three, got it! Reed Sheppard came into this game shooting 53% from downtown, and now part of the steal here.
Tough to defend because the two guards out front now for Kentucky have such great range.
Oh, Big Z behind the back to Reeves! Got it! Showtime from Croatia to Lexington. An 11-0 Kentucky run. Look at that emotion. Z is free
and plays with ease. Caught the basketball again. Did not think about finishing it himself.
That's 7-2. 7-2 going behind the back.
And the best part is Reeves finished the play.
That's 2 assists for Big Z in 3 minutes.
And a block shot.
And a block shot. I'd say he's not too nervous.
And the feeling in this building is unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You and I have done a number of games at Rupp Arena over the years, and Coach Cal, quite frankly, was imploring Big Blue Nation to not just show up, but to be loud. And this is as loud as I've heard Rupp Arena in a while.
In my hotel next to the arena, when it came out at about, what, 1:35 that he was going to be able to play, everywhere I was, having lunch, walking in, people talking, and that's all they said. We get to see Big Z tonight. And I thought, well, who knows how many minutes, what effect he'll have, but already the electricity in this building.
The electricity for the #1 scoring team in America, averaging over 90 points a game, already leading 19-10 here in the midst of an 11-0 run.
So the Bulldogs, Mike, they have to have an answer. Basically a 3-guard offense. You got Blue Kane in it who can shoot it. Demery can shoot it. Justin Hill can score the ball.
Going with a smaller lineup with Deloach patrolling the paint for Georgia. Spot up three, nothing but the bottom of the net for Abdur-Rahim. That's his 3rd triple.
And when he's on, teammates must find him early in the flow because he can knock in those open ones.
He came in shooting over 42% from downtown. We got some great shooters in this game. Strong take. Wow. Mid-air, banging bodies. Mitchell with a man one.
Oh, what an athlete. What a great transfer for this Kentucky team. Changes their game the way Trey Mitchell plays. He can be physical. He's had double-doubles. He can shoot it deep. He can attack the rim.
You know, last time I was here to call a Kentucky game, I ran into Trey Mitchell's father, who was a college player in his own right. He said, yeah, you know, the one thing I just want to see from my boy, just be a little more aggressive. He's sometimes a little passive, but he's got all the talent in the world. He's been more aggressive, but he still plays under control.
It sounds like a father to most sons.
Yes,
it's just
right?
the way it is.
Kentucky with the rebound and quickly into front court. Dillingham has been so electric off the bench.
Dennis Gates from Missouri called Dillingham the best ISO player in the country. High praise.
Onyenso, look at that big man make a move inside. And then a turnover into the hands of Dillingham. Dillingham tries to sneak it through, can't do it. The steal by Abdur-Rahim.
Bulldogs out of sync. Got to find a way to get a bucket. Might have got away with a travel. This guy shot it well, though.
Abdur-Rahim finally misses one. That was the most open one he had. A 10-point game under 12 minutes to go here in Lexington. Sheppard, a rare turnover by Reed Sheppard, and then a foul on Dillingham.
It's been a great start for this Wildcat team, and who other but Antonio Reeves. He's been special all season, whether attacking the rim or shooting the jump shot. Wildcats up early.
Guys.
Dari, thank you. It's a big win for the Aggies, now 2-3 in conference play, and of course we've got a pair of 3-1 teams in the SEC. You know, after what Tennessee did to Alabama, I wonder if there's room for somebody else in that top 4. Auburn, Tennessee, Bama, and Kentucky seem to be tier 1 so far here, John.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting about the A&M win. LSU and A&M have now played twice, both teams winning on the other's home court. Right. You saw LSU the other night, much better than they were early, especially the Cook running the show. A&M still trying to find their way, I think. They've not really been healthy all season. Boots Radford missed some games. Henry Coleman missed the game when they lost on Tuesday to Arkansas. So I think beyond those 4 teams, I think you jumble them up a little bit and see who knows who's the best of those, the rest of the group.
Yeah, I mean, what is 5 through 14? How big a difference is there 5 through 14? This Georgia team, again, one of 5 teams that are undefeated on the road, 3-0, including a win in Tallahassee.
And that's what's impressive. They're 2-0 on the road in SEC play. It's hard to get a road win.
Yeah.
But they went to Missouri, went to South Carolina, and got wins.
Quick hands and a steal by Justin Hill. Georgia just took a haymaker or 2 from Kentucky. Let's see how they respond. Tough pass, a lot of hot sauce on that one for Chiwa.
Hill has not been good early in this game, and it's cost the Bulldogs.
Edwards missed the layup, probed the baseline, and was probably surprised how open he was. This is Blue, one of the talented freshmen, Blue Kane.
So think of Blue Kane as a freshman playing against freshman guards at Kentucky. He's going to want to have a big night. It's just the way it is. Same with Demery, the point guard for the Bulldogs, a freshman. He's going to want to play well against the freshman McDonald All-American guys at Kentucky.
Aggressive sweeping layup by Kane. Open three, rattled home. Kentucky, the #2 3-point shooting team in the league at 39%, and they're making over 10 threes a game. Talking to Cal earlier today, he says, I've never had a team that really was prepared to do that. This is a strength of this year's team.
And what they can do is because they can stretch it out. There's Blue Kane. Blue Kane's got a lot of things on the offensive end. But what Kentucky can do, they can space it out, not clog up the middle. Because of their ability off the bounce to get to the paint, then you get shooters on the outside moving in open spots. They're unselfish, they draw, they kick, they shoot it.
You got to go back to the early 90s. Some of those Rick Pitino teams, the last time a Kentucky team averaged 10 or more three-point field goals a game. It just hasn't been a big part of Kentucky's offense under Coach Cal, but when you talk to him about it, he says, look, I got the personnel now. Yeah. I was never against three-point shots. I got guys who can hit them. So here we go. The first time in a couple of decades that Kentucky has been able to hit double digits per game.
Well, I think back the 89-90 team, Rick Pitino's first year, Billy Donovan, Tubby Smith, Ralph Hilliard that's the staff. Willard that's the staff. I mean, unbelievable.
Right. Some exciting teams. If you know, you know. If you're old enough to remember the Rick Pitino teams here in Lexington, some of the most exciting and most talented teams in college basketball in the last half-century.
Wagner good off the bounce, can get to the rim, finish either hands, very acrobatic when he drives.
Edwards spots up another three. That one lifts short. Flying in is Blue Kane, another rebound. Georgia down by 9. Abdur-Rahim has had the hot hand, needs a little help.
Think of Mike White and the confidence. He's got Blue Kane as a freshman, Demery's a freshman, both guards out front.
Kick out pass to Thomason, wired to score. Thomason takes it all the way and draws the foul. Noah Thomason, the lefty, and the standout at Niagara, where he led the Metro Atlantic in scoring, will have a chance at the free throw line. Tuesday night, we'll have a men's basketball doubleheader right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app, featuring the first game at 7 Eastern. Antonio Reeves and number 8 Kentucky taking on Meechie Johnson and the Gamecocks. Impressive win for the Gamecocks today on the road at Arkansas. They led from the opening tip to the final whistle.
Terrific win by the Gamecocks. They played well, they shot it well, they rebounded well. Not a good loss for Arkansas. That's a team that is struggling. I had them the other night. They pulled out a game at the buzzer against A&M, but a team that Coach Muss is having headaches about.
Sonny, do you agree with me? The 3 most improved teams this year in the league, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and this Georgia squad.
Yeah, and then throw LSU in there. I mean, you've got 4 squads that pick to the lower half or lower bottom of this league, and all of them are winning some games on the road.
Reeves inside. Bradshaw missed the finger roll, and heads-up play that time by Demery. Threw it off of Bradshaw out of bounds.
So Demery will fight you for the ball. 6'4", 190. Yes, only a freshman, but physical, tough, not afraid to get his nose in any action. He made the huge 3 on the road against Missouri, the first SEC conference game that kept them with the lead and then won the ball game.
He actually started in the season opener against Oregon. That's the first Georgia freshman to do so since Anthony Edwards in 2019, who's lighting it up in the NBA for the Timberwolves. Inside, there's the big guy muscling his way to the rack. That's Chiwa.
275 pounds. He moves well, shoots 75% from the free throw line. So he is not bashful to attack and even get to the foul line.
When we asked Mike White, give us one player that really needs to step up his game tonight, he said Chiwa. We've got to have him play big against this Kentucky front line.
And it's tough because most Kentucky guys play outside, even their bigs do.
Dillingham, just a scoring machine off the bench, averaging 14.5 points per game. Demery hounded by Dillingham, who also leads the SEC in steals with 2.5. Backdoor cut, pump fake, and Abdur-Rahim does a great job of drawing the foul on Mitchell.
How many coaches trust a big that's 7 feet 275 pounds to make a bounce pass to a cutter from the baseline. They've got to have a lot of trust when you put the ball in the hands of a guy this big, reaches around, pass right on the money. Perfect.
And that's, that's the kind of thing you get now with the portal. She was a guy who played in 104 games at Texas Tech in South Florida.
Yep.
So you don't have to groom him and teach him the game. He comes here as an established player at this level as Big Z comes back in.
And has been well coached at both of those places, which is important. Sometimes you might get a portal guy that hasn't been well coached.
Bad habits.
Yep, and it can throw things to your team that you have to fix throughout the whole season.
I think we've seen that in a couple of cases. The portal can help you. It can also hurt you if you don't get the right combination of guys.
Keep an eye on Z. He's a face-up guy, can knock in jump shots.
Big Z for three. Are you kidding me? Unreal. Already a couple assists, a block, and now a tray. Have yourself a debut, Big Z. And a block. Another block. I think it's safe to say 44 in white is going to be a fan favorite.
I think on my ride to the airport tomorrow, his face will be on the buses, maybe on the airplane. Big Blue likes the big fella from Croatia. Spot up, shoot it, block shots, do everything on his opening night for this Wildcat team. On one end offensively, on the other end defensively, this Wildcat team off to a great night.
All right, this is turning into like a Hollywood script here. Here's this young man out of Croatia who's been waiting for months to become eligible. He's played 3 minutes. He's got a behind-the-back assist. He's got 2 blocks. He's got a steal. And he's also got his first three-pointer. All of that in 3 minutes and 12 seconds. I'd say Big Z has been up to the occasion, John Sunvol.
And Big Blue Nation, he talked before that he'd love being here, and he appreciated the fans. What about after tonight? What a start. We thought he might get, what, Mike, 4 or 5 minutes?
4 or 5 minutes. Be happy if he could get a shot off. Hopefully it hits the rim. There's got to be some rust, some conditioning. We all know there's regular shape and there's basketball shape. He doesn't look winded. He certainly looks like the game is coming to him rather easily so far.
Well, we do know he's always been a star at every level he's played at. And he got here, and all he had to do was wait to be eligible and wait and wait and wait. We talked about the fact that he lost pounds. He was stressed. A lot of things going on, but probably no better coach to play for than Coach Cal, who would understand all that, send him home, let him come back, and what a night he has put on so far.
How about what Coach Cal is dialing up here? Twin tower action. You got 7-1 Bradshaw, 7-2 Big Z. Wagner slashing, throws it up there and flips it in.
Tough shot because he went across his body, took off his right leg with the right arm, right shoulder. Very difficult.
Great ball movement, Abdur-Rahim. That one rattles off. Chiwa battling down low and bought Georgia another possession. That's all hustle by the big man, Russell Chiwa.
Odd to say Chiwa at 7 feet looks small around Big Z. But again, he's got such girth, Chiwa, he'll be able to push Z underneath.
Yeah, he can carve out space against anybody in this league. A great big man in the SEC this year. You think of Tolu Smith of Mississippi State.
And great to see him back.
Fade and fire, good-looking shot, but it rims off for Thomason.
Boy, Z's got great hands. You can just see it.
Not Big Z again. That's a deep 2. And that's another long-range jumper knocked down. And Big Z says, hey, you're going to leave me open. I'm going to bury it.
Talking to Jack Evans, a great Jack Evans, he said before the game he might be our best shooter.
Wow. Strong take by Thomason. He gets off to Schneid. He was 0 for 4 from the field before that bucket. As we approach the 6.5-minute mark of this first half, Kentucky up by 11. Dillingham to Big Z again, no hesitation. My goodness, what in the world? Big Z putting on a clinic in this first half.
So is it crazy that I just high-fived Jack Evans over there on the radio? This is nuts.
This is truly bizarro world stuff. This kid hasn't played a minute in his college career. How about another rebound for Big Z? 9 points, 3 boards, 2 blocks, and a steal.
If he makes another one, Cal might just sit down.
This crowd won't. They're all standing here at Rupp Arena. Another sellout in Lexington. They haven't played a home game on a Saturday in over a month. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, yes! Again, Big Z! Or is it? I can't tell. This crowd is so frenzied over the performance by Ivisic.
Absolutely unbelievable what we are witnessing. First ball game ever in the States. He's stepping out, but give his teammates credit. They keep finding him. Wagner with his 3rd assist in a row deep in the corner. Wow, what a reaction by this crowd.
Sonny, we've seen a lot of great things over the years. It's hard to just kind of wow us. But when you haven't played a minute of college basketball, you come in your much anticipated debut. You play 5 minutes, you go 4 for 4 from 3, 12 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, and 2 blocks.
Again, he said, I love the environment, I love the fans. That was before he played a minute.
Yes.
Wait till tonight when he leaves this building.
I mean, NIL or not, he's never paying for another drink or meal in Lexington again, that's for sure.
What a night. What a start.
They are actually...
Look at his teammates.
Yeah. Everybody's smiling ear to ear. And again, everybody in Rupp Arena is on their feet. They're not sitting down. They're just absolutely amazed at what they're seeing.
I don't care if you're the greatest shooter in the history of the sport. If you're Steph Curry, do you make your first 4 threes out of the blocks after never playing?
It's just not supposed to happen.
Magical.
If you submitted the script to Hollywood, somebody would say, no, that's too hokey. Nobody would believe it. And he will get a much-deserved breather, although technically he's only played 5 minutes, but they're the most productive 5 minutes you'll see from a college basketball player. A plus 23, if you believe in the plus-minus stat. 5 minutes, he's plus 23. It's incredible.
You know, he could retire right now to be the greatest story ever.
He'd be right up there.
Just leave it alone.
Let's see how Kentucky does without him on the floor. Let's see if Georgia can get a run going of their own with all the momentum now in Kentucky's favor. That'll help. A turnover by Wagner.
See if Melendez turned his ankle. Lucky he didn't pick up a foul. Might be okay. Transfer from Illinois. He's had great minutes and been terrific as a Georgia Bulldog. He was good at Illinois. Up and down at times. He can be that way. That's the kind of player he is. But can shoot it when he can get on a roll.
If you're Georgia, Abdur-Rahim, he's got 10, but who do you want to see step it up here?
Well, I think one of the keys is Noah Thomason, because he's so good with the basketball. Oh, bad pass again by Hill. Tough night for Hill.
Cross court, turnover, and a missed layup by Wagner.
Wow. And Wagner looked like he was going to dunk it, and he didn't get off his ankle or foot very well.
Teardrop hits the front iron for Thomason. And now Kentucky a little sloppy. Another turnover. Melendez ahead of the pack. Melendez, one of their X-factor guys. He is a big part of the equation for Georgia.
So you've got 4:30 some on this clock for Georgia to get slowly back in and gain some momentum before halftime. Boy, Wagner can turn that corner, can he?
He certainly can.
So strong, so strong.
Like he was on skates, so smooth, maintaining his balance. Kentucky up 43-26. There's a block. Onyenso going for another one. And this time, Chiwa draws the contact and a foul.
That's his first and the team's sixth.
Certainly need to make sure that that young man is okay. Russell Chiwa, their best and biggest post presence.
And he has been so valuable for this Georgia ball club in their 3-1 record in the SEC. The turn, and he came down on that, maybe the right knee.
And you brought up a great point before the game started. To have a big man like him that you know he's going to go to the line and shoot 75% of the line.
Well, most bigs shy away from contact if they're bad free throw shooters. It's just natural. They don't want to be out by themselves standing with the crowd looking. He delivered against Missouri. He had 18 points and 11 rebounds of that. Now, not a pretty free throw, but he was 8 of 9 down the stretch in that game. But he's got confidence to go to that free throw line and deliver.
Sunahara checks back in for Georgia, number 10 in black. Second free throw attempt coming up for Chiwa. Knuckleball on the second. Neither one of those look good coming off the fingertips. Approaching the 4-minute mark of half number 1.
Dillingham, Sheppard, the ball, Reeves, the ball really moves. Look at that. Boom, boom,
Sheppard
boom.
passed it up to Reeves. Great box out that time by Melendez. Here come the Dogs. Moncrief got his defender in the air, and Matthew Alexander, make that Justin Hill, I beg your pardon. Hill will go to the free throw line when we return, and Big Z is going to check back into the ball game. Kentucky, and an incredible atmosphere. That man lighting it up so far.
It's insane. It's just insane, guys.
Can he top 4 for 4?
Can't imagine being there.
I'm gonna change my name to Ivisic.
The Ivisic room.
You gonna put the accents there? The Ivisic room.
Well, guys, they have indeed freed Big Z, and boy, have they reaped the benefits in this game today. Wow. In 5 minutes, 11 points, 3 rebounds, couple assists, couple of blocks for Big Z. That really was the spark that helped Kentucky out to this large lead.
I mean, that's what's crazy. 5 minutes is all he's played.
Yeah.
But the electricity, when he entered the floor, then he made the first block, then he made the behind-the-back pass, and then he just went lights out from outside.
And again, we don't have enough room on our graphic machine to give you his full line, because what you don't see there is the steal and the 2 blocks, not to mention 4 for 4 from downtown, 4 for 4 and 12 points. Let's not slight Big Z in his debut, which has been nothing short of miraculous up to this point. He's
I've never seen anything like it.
No, I mean, that's
even
the
when
thing.
he walked in the building, people were talking, hey, this is great, this is great. That's why I said on the open, it's kind of like coming to a circus. I thought, okay, it's electrifying, it's fun, because this team has, put up 90 points a game.
Yeah, oh, by the way, it's a top 10 team without him playing. They lead the nation in scoring with nearly 91 points a game, and you're like, okay, this is a nice little story. Give him a few minutes, get his feet wet. We did not expect anything like this.
And his expression is just absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Like I'm supposed to do this.
This is why I came here.
Look how tall, look how big and long he is. Can handle it, can pass it, and obviously can shoot it.
Yeah, we've got a women's basketball tripleheader Sunday afternoon right here on the SEC Network. The Lady Vols will host Vandy in Knoxville at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Number 1 South Carolina squares off against Texas A&M as well. Mike Morgan, John Sunvold, great to be with you this Saturday evening. Brutal cold outside, but man, oh man, is Kentucky providing a whole lot of heat this season offensively. Cal's best offensive team yet at 91 points per game. Best 3-point shooting team Cal has had, and again, they rarely turn it over.
Numbers just absolutely pop off the chart. They're 64% tonight so far from the field.
Yeah. It's been kind of a ho-hum performance, too. You don't feel like they've even played their best basketball yet. A couple of guys that have not heated up as of yet.
Nice
backdoor
pass.
Cut, and there on the finish, that'll be a goaltend. Big Z, a little bit exuberant on that block.
Deloach with a good pass. The transfer from VCU. The confidence that Mike White has in his bigs to run stuff through them on the elbows or up top, and backdoor cuts.
Can't say enough about what Mike White's team has done in this his second year in Athens. They've won 11 out of 12, and the one loss was a game they easily could have won. They squandered an 11-point lead in the second half against Tennessee. That 10-game winning streak that they had was the longest in over half a century for Georgia basketball.
The challenge tonight has been the fact they've not been able to stop Kentucky off the bounce. They're getting anything they want, getting to the paint, kicking for outside, and if they get close, look at the ball swing, penetration inside, a little floater, all net, high percentage by this Wildcat team.
Reeves just makes it look so easy, doesn't he?
He really does. He's now in his second season here at Kentucky. He's an older player, though, 23 years old. That makes a difference, playing against 18-year-olds. But again, the range that he now shows on the offensive end, not just a catch and release type player as he was a year ago. Ball can go on the floor. Averages nearly 20 points a ball game.
First foul on Sheppard, a 1-and-1 for Demery. Demery coming in a 67% free throw shooter, averaging over 9 points a game.
Love this guy, love his game. Tough-minded. Mike White has really described him as he's just so much poise and so mature. And I think because he's the lead guard with the ball in his hand from the start of every ball game, I think they trust what he does, and I think that's why they're 13-4 on the season.
Big guard too at 6'5", $190. Only going to get stronger during his time in Athens. 15-point game, 2 minutes, 20 seconds left to play in the first half. Sheppard and Reeves on the perimeter, along with Big Z and Wagner. And that time a rare miscue by Big Z, a turnover. Georgia trying to make them pay on the other end. This is Kane. Trying to force it into the corner to Melendez.
Kane missed the early pass to Melendez. Missed it as he was driving. Melendez wide open, wanted to make the play himself. You got to learn, hey, give it up early, especially if you got a shooter in the corner.
Well, one matchup I was looking forward to tonight. You got Kentucky shooting 39 as a team from downtown. Georgia in SEC play defends the three well. How about Big Z on a steal? Stop it. Just stop it already.
He is in every category on the stat sheet. After his turnover, steal.
That's 2 steals, 2 blocks to go along with everything offensively. Wagner misfires on the three. But Georgia defends the three exceptionally well. 26% opponents are shooting from behind the arc. Georgia will try a three. That misses everything. Sunahara can't find it. Reeves behind the back and draws the foul on Kane.
Boy, think of the length and the reach when you're guarding sideline out of bounds. 7-2.
Checking in for Kentucky is
2 steals, 2 blocks, a couple rebounds, a couple assists, 12 points, making 11 points in the blink of an eye. They actually switched that now to 11 points. I guess they switched one of his field goals from a 3 to a 2. So 11 points for Big Z. Reeves rattles the first free throw home.
So we show up in Lexington, Mike. We know a team that averages 90 playing against a team, Georgia, that likes to get up and down. Mike White said, hey, we want to play with pace. We just don't want to turn it over. They haven't had a ton of turnovers. But take a look. Kentucky's got 49.
And again, 49 points. And, yeah, it's so explosive. And they can come from so many different guys. That's the difference. Nice pass and a 2-hand flush on the other end by DeLoach.
And that's the strength of Justin Hill, being good with the ball, making decisions, gets to the paint easily, crafty with the basketball.
He had some big plays down the stretch in that big come from behind win against Florida State. Sheppard on a three, got it. Statistically, he's the best three-point shooter in the SEC.
Open look, Antonio Reeves off the bounce, put it right on the money for his teammate.
Onyenso deflects that pass away into the hands of Sheppard. Under a minute to go here in the first half. A 52-point half for the Wildcats. Tangling up with Bradshaw was Melendez. That's a mismatch. That's the thing, Kentucky now with Big Z. You got 3 7-footers you can play.
Well, it's a bad foul on by Melendez because Bradshaw's trying to duck in, but the ball isn't even where it could be entered. So you're fighting a guy that's trying to duck in, and the ball's not even in a place. It's so far out, they're not going to throw it in. So you've got to pick your poison. If it can be passed, yeah, and then you fight the guy. But if there's no way there's going to be an entry pass to your guy who's posting up. Don't worry about it.
We haven't talked too much about Aaron Bradshaw. Obviously, it's been the Big Z show, but what a great freshman you have in this guy. Hits both free throws. If he can add that to his game, Aaron Bradshaw at 7'1", a talented rim protector, and a guy who had a huge three-pointer in the win against Florida in Gainesville.
Yeah, he's had 5 double-figured games in only the 9 that he's played. He came off the injury. Shot clock is off.
Dogs playing for the final shot. Demery milking it under 10 seconds, hounded by Sheppard. Demery into the corner with 5 seconds. Kick out pass. Abdur-Rahim passed up the 3, drives, and draws the contact on the foul with 1.2 on the clock. I thought for sure Abdur-Rahim was going to take that 3.
Something again he didn't do last year. He didn't put it on the floor much and try to get contact. He's a great free throw shooter at 89%. So they're going to guard you at the 3, put it on the floor. Use your size to an advantage. He is 6'8".
The #1 free throw shooter in the SEC at that 89%. And of course, right on cue, he hits the front iron.
Well, they've not shot it well tonight from the foul line.
They're not now 9 of 13. Really, they haven't shot it well overall. 38 from the field, 27 from 3. Knocks down the second to make it 54-35. Use it or lose it timeout here for Coach Cal in Kentucky. Wildcats up by 19 points.
I would put Z in and have him take a half-court shot.
Why? Backwards.
Come on, yeah, let's
blindfolded and backwards.
End this on a good note.
Never seen anything like it. And again, not just his college debut. He's been sitting and waiting on whether or not he's going to be eligible to play for the better part of 2 or 3 months.
I mean, that's a stat line that's crazy if you played the whole game. He's got 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
That's about as efficient a line as you'll see for a young man in 8 minutes of work.
As though Kentucky basketball doesn't need another buzz.
Exactly. Another legend, another page in the great history of one of the greatest traditions of any basketball program that's ever been around the land. And they'll be celebrating, by the way, that 1984 Final Four team at the half. Sam Bowie, Kenny Walker, among others in attendance. That'll be honored at halftime. Full court pressure by Georgia. Bradshaw will inbound it, and it'll go to Georgia. And Justin Hill could not scoop it up cleanly. We will go to intermission. What a performance by that young man, Big Z, and what a performance by Kentucky. Up by 19. Plenty to chew on back in studio. A memorable first half here in Lexington. The Wildcats up by 19 against the Georgia Bulldogs as we welcome you back inside a sold-out Rupp Arena. He is John Sunvold. I am Mike Morgan. John, we talk for a living. It's very seldom that either one of us are speechless. Free Big Z, that's what happened in the first half, and what he did has left me speechless.
Z is free, so to speak,
is free.
Right? I mentioned start of the game. I was calling over here, it's kind of like circus atmosphere because of how electric the offense is. Little did I know that the circus was even bigger than I could imagine. And what we saw in the first half from big number 44 was so much fun and so much entertaining and really took everybody by surprise. I mean, legendary Jack Evans sitting next to me on the radio. He took his headset off 3 different times and just shook his head.
It gave you a high five.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, what a first half for the Kentucky Wildcats.
Meanwhile, of course, he's not alone. Big Z is not. This is a Kentucky team that's been scoring 91 points a game without him, and they continue their torrid pace with 54 in the first half. Georgia, meanwhile, a really good defensive team. They obviously ran into a buzzsaw with Big Z. Now, if you're Mike White, what is the message to get Georgia back in this game?
Well, these first 4 minutes, and every coach talks about it, are huge for this Bulldog team. Make some shots, get a couple stops, each possession, get quality, get a little 8-0, 10-0 run early this half, get back in it. And when you do that, what happens to a home crowd? The home crowd becomes a bit nervous if they can get this gap narrowed down.
Kentucky will have it first on offense. Wagner, who did have 5 assists in that first half, finds Reeves, who had a game high 14. Only man to outscore Big Z in that first half. Georgia gets it off the turnover. And see if the Bulldog offense can find some life here to start the second.
Abdur-Rahim had 11 in that first half. Not a good pass from up top.
Demery making a freshman mistake, tried to thread the needle.
Tough angle to throw it from the top unless your guy is set solidly in the lane.
Wagner can't connect on the runner. Sunahara on the rebound. Georgia on the attack. And drawing the whistle and the foul is Demery.
I talked about the physicality of Demery in that first half. He does not mind if guys are going to guard him closely or be physical. 6'5", 190. Very powerful with his bounce.
Finds some daylight. That one came off flat and a miss for Demery.
2 missed opportunities for these Bulldogs. Can't miss many more early in this half.
Now you've got a small margin of error to get back in this game. Edwards on a rise and fire. He misses, but there with a rebound is the ultimate glue guy in Trey Mitchell.
Yeah, what happens when you switch and have to help out, all of a sudden switch might not be early enough, and inside position early and easily for Trey Mitchell.
Mitchell's the #1 rebounder in conference play. That was a whistle before the shot. As Chiwa got mauled down low by Bradshaw, picking up his first foul. Bradshaw almost conceding he was not going to be able to stop him that close to the basket. Backdoor cut and an easy flush that time by Sunahara.
Well, Reeves was guarding the ball out of bounds, and he tried to guess it was going to the corner. Miscommunication. Can't give up the layup.
Sunahara was the Division II Player of the Year for Nova Southeastern. They went 36-0.
Undefeated. They beat Missouri St. Louis, coached by my older brother Bob, in the Elite Eight. Only by a bucket.
I did not know that was going to connect a dot to the Sunvolt family as the bank is open for Wagner. Of course, that 84 team was honored at the half, the Final Four team for Kentucky, and Sam Bowie led the way on the microphone. And I know you and Sam crossed paths several times during your career.
We did, and we got to talk before the game tonight. He did a great speech at halftime
he was
about
terrific.
the 84 squad.
Work in the room.
Said he wanted to be now known as Big Z throughout Kentucky.
Mitchell shows off his range. He can hit the threes, 35% on the year from downtown. Demery, beautiful take to the bucket.
Back and forth, the Bulldogs, though, can't just trade baskets. Got to find a way to slow him down. Wagner's so difficult because he's so good with the ball. Gets to the paint, makes it easy for teammates.
Another three and another make. This time it's Justin Edwards.
Mike, if you don't guard the ball, if you don't guard the bounce, you are in absolute trouble, especially in this league.
Coach Cal telling us he still has so much faith in Justin Edwards. Just wants him to play with a little more confidence out there. Great job carving up space and finishing. Chiwa is just a low down on the box.
275 pounds, and he's mobile.
That's the key, too. I mean, moves almost like a big man with a soccer background.
Can't stay in front of him, can you? You cannot. There hasn't been a Bulldog stay in front of Wagner the entire game.
Seems like he can get to the rim whenever he wants. Speaking of getting to the rim, a drive and kick sets up Abdur-Rahim on a three. Well, he started off hot as a firecracker, but has gone chilly from outside. How about another one? He could use one to drop instead. He'll get 3 free throws as the foul is committed by Justin Edwards. Coach Cal is irate, saying, what are we doing, fouling the three-point shooter?
Keep an eye on Jabri to see. Here's what great shooters will do. He might have slapped the defender's hand. See that? He's a wily veteran.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as I watched it, I thought, you know, he might have taken his offhand and slapped the defender's hand, Edwards' hand. Now, try to be a player and convince your coaches as they take you out that that's what happened.
As he picks up his 3rd foul, and of course the rule is you got to let the shooter have space to land. I'm guessing that's what the call was there. As you see the career numbers on Abdur-Rahim, who enters this game as the #1 free throw shooter in the SEC, 82% for his career. Of course, the son of Sharif Abdur-Rahim, current president of the G League and a longtime NBA star.
Here are the three freshman guards out there together. Remember the first half, how quickly the ball moved and how open the shots were.
I mean, there have been games where both of these freshman guards, Sheppard and Dillingham, have taken over for Kentucky. It's going to be a pick your poison for opponents throughout the rest of the year.
Utmost confidence each guy has. Down the stretch of a game, we've seen Dillingham do it all season. We saw the massive free throws with a smile on his face.
Yes.
That were delivered against A&M by Sheppard.
Clutch, to say the least. Wagner on another drive and another bucket. They can't stop it.
Really can't. And tonight he's really favored going left.
And a great take on the other end by Demery, hooping the harm. A chance for three the hard way. Mike Morgan, John Sunvold back with you in Lexington. We mentioned that 84 team that went to the Final Four before losing to the eventual champion Georgetown, being honored. Led by Joe B. Hall, Sam Bowie. There's Kenny Skywalker, former NBA slam dunk champion. There's Sam Bowie, a contemporary of my partner John Sunvold's, and now you see the entire team being honored as if this crowd hasn't been treated to enough. One of the several Final Four teams in Kentucky history. Melvin Turpin was a heck of a player on that squad as well. They won the SEC. They won the SEC tournament, finished with 29 wins. You got any good Sam Bowie stories for us? How about this one?
Wow, hey.
An All-American team of a publication which we will not name, but let's just say it's a famous one at that.
So this is these are the guys I brought to the playground with me.
Yeah.
And who's got
pretty
next.
Good squad.
You know, it's interesting when I think of the SEC, there's Sam in the front, Dale Ellis, Tennessee to the left of him, or to the left, from our left. Ennis Watley is in front of me there, Michael Jordan back there, but Ennis Watley, great player from Alabama.
Yeah.
Ralph Sampson on the right, Doc Ellis on the left, Pat Ewing, Keith Lee.
A lot of SEC representation on that squad.
Sam was such a great player, but as we all know, he had the injuries his entire career.
Yeah, that's
back in this is aging everything, but in 1979, the high school class, the big three: Ralph Sampson, Sam Bowie, and Steve Stepanovich, a 7-foot center that I played with at Missouri. Those were the big three. But that class was James Worthy, and I mean the list goes on.
Loaded.
Doc or Dale Ellis. And I'm trying to think Kentucky. If I go back, it was Hurt, Horde, Minifield, and Bowie were the four guys coming into Kentucky. All McDonald's guys. And
Minifield has one of the best college dunks I've ever seen. It pops up every now and then. It's on YouTube, and it's remarkable.
Fabulous lead guard for the Wildcats for 4 years.
Dillingham just picked up his third foul, although with the depth on this Kentucky squad, I don't know if they're ever going to have to worry about foul trouble, because there's always – Cal can always go to a plan B that's really not a plan B. It's more like a plan 1B.
Well, such a high-octane team, you think, okay, where are the weaknesses? Okay, maybe some rebounding at times. They're not a wide team, right? They're tall, but not as much girth inside. We saw against A&M, they had a hard time with the high pick and rolls, the freshman guards against veteran guards that could turn the corner or make jump shots. Boy, they scored again. Woo! Same play, same result, second layup from underneath out of bounds. You rarely see one, let alone two.
And Melendez off a trampoline on the two-hand stuff. Turnaround jumper. That's who Mike White said is the guy that impresses him the most, is Trey Mitchell. All the things that he does for this team.
Veteran player, calm, cool, collected, can rebound, can shoot it, can pass. And when you read all the stories, he is the guy that's the true leader for especially the young players.
Came from West Virginia. There's Sheppard on a steal. He leads the league in steals. Ahead to Reeves, and a beautiful finish with the left.
Sheppard has such a great feel and understanding of the game. Scouting report knows where the players are going, where plays are going, makes some finishes.
They will wave off the basket. A foul down low. Steven Anderson immediately waved it off. The foul is on Chiwa.
Basketball recognition. Here comes the steal and how quickly the ball comes out to a guy in front of you. Some will hesitate. Some players don't see it. Sheppard sees everything, responds, makes the play easy.
We have an official review, and that'll give us a moment to kind of reflect. John, you and I have seen a number of highly talented Cal teams over the years. #1 ranked recruiting classes. McDonald's All-Americans all over the place. But there's just something that seems to be unique and special about this squad. They haven't made it to the second weekend of the tournament since 2019, which is hard to believe. This team seems like they could certainly make a deep run.
Well, we know Cal is demanding. And what's great about this squad is that when I've watched, and we see them play, they're so unselfish.
Yeah.
That's always hard to get when you've got the great talent and the McDonald's guys. And the mixture, and I'll say it for the teams I've watched, the mixture of young and old. Give me some veterans who've been around that are the stable pieces, and the young talent that Kentucky has with the mix of a Trey Mitchell, Antonio Reeves. Now they've got night in, night out. You're not sure what you might get from the 18-year-old, but the 22 and 23-year-old can carry you through some bumps.
That's right. And again, there's been other teams that maybe have rebounded better, but other than that, this team is the best passing team we've seen in a while, the best three-point shooting team we've seen in a while. They've got size, they've got speed, and they've got depth.
And here's what the SEC will do. They will challenge this team throughout this season, in conference season, to get them ready for the NCAA tournament. They'll have to go to Tennessee. I don't know the schedule, look, but if they play at Tennessee, any of these places that are tough. They lost at A&M, right? They were challenged by an older team. Sheppard, another bucket.
Unreal.
Doesn't miss many.
He came in 53% from downtown. He's 3 for 3. So the math, I don't know. He's got to be flirting with 60% from behind the arc. Ridiculous.
I was kidding him before the game, along with his coach, John Welch, legendary NBA coach, as they were working on shooting. I said, don't hit the rim. And he kind of looked at me. I said, no, don't hit the rim. Count hitting the rim a miss. Then you change your thought process on shooting.
Reeves,
wow.
Goodness.
Wow.
Just heat check threes all over. It's raining threes in Lexington, and a timeout called by Georgia. Wildcats clicking on all cylinders tonight. For sure. By the way, speaking of game day, on the men's side, ESPN Game Day will be in Fayetteville next week when Kentucky comes to town. Goes to show you the power of Kentucky, because obviously that is the main draw right now.
So I'll say this about the Arkansas team, and I was flying into Fayetteville, sitting next to a young Arkansas fan, and we got talking. He was really dejected about his team.
Yeah.
I said, here's what you have to remember. That same group, they beat Duke. There's a capability of that squad.
Absolutely.
They're not there right now.
No.
They're struggling in every form, but it's the same group of guys that beat Duke and is capable of turning some things around.
The word that comes to mind, which does apply to Kentucky, and maybe not so much there, is connected. You've got to be connected, and I believe because Big Z connected on an elbow, they're about to give him a flagrant one. So add that to the first for that young man's career.
Check all boxes
check
tonight,
all boxes
Z.
tonight.
Check them all. Don't get thrown out, but check every box. So there's Z. Now I'm not going to defend Z because that's an elbow. He is 7'2".
Right.
He hit a guy that's 6'5", which would be elbow height.
Yes.
Like if you were going to normally block out.
I know where you're coming. I know where you're coming from.
Now, he deserves it. I get it.
By the letter of the law, it's the right call.
Yeah, difficult if you're blocking out and you put your elbows up because it's chin high.
Right.
It's a reason, Mike. I never went in that colored lane when I got in the NBA. No, because my face was at their elbow height.
Yeah.
There was no sense.
You were a shooter. You didn't need to mix it up in the paint.
You big guys handle the stuff.
Right.
Kick it out and let's go. Just kick it out.
Have to keep that face pretty for your trips to the mansion. Free throw is missed by Demery.
Toughest shot in basketball is when you're all by your lonesome on that free throw line because you're used to people in the lane to the side of you.
Not to mention, as that one crawls in.
Didn't have a lot of arch on that.
You've got a rowdy crowd, and we'll play the comments for you in a few moments about Coach Cal imploring this Kentucky fan base, which there's no better in the land. They know the game, they love the game, they show up for the games. But he wants them to be loud and rowdy too, not just enough to show up. And I tell you what, today they have been loud, they have been rowdy, and they have made their points clear as day. That's a silencer by Abdur Rahim as he gets back in a rhythm, his fourth three-pointer.
Yeah, Jabri for another 3. He is a guy that can really catch and shoot, and he worked so hard this summer, and Mike White just praises the fact of his leadership.
Georgia zoning up Kentucky. A popular strategy in years past when Kentucky has not been a great three-point shooting team. Strong take, high up the glass, and a foul drawn by Justin Hill.
Jabri Abdur-Rahim comes in this ball game shooting over 41% from 3. He's got unlimited range, so teams in the SEC know they got to get to him. But what he does well, Mike, he moves without the basketball, finds openings, and creates the distance we get a shot off.
Well, and you mentioned one of the key wins for Georgia. So they're 3-0 before this game on the road. One of 5 teams in all college basketball undefeated in true road games. In Tallahassee against Florida State, a team off to a red-hot start in ACC play, by the way. Abdur-Rahim, they were down 17 at timeouts called. It was Abdur-Rahim telling his team, we can win this game, stay with it. That was a signature moment for Georgia basketball. Both free throws missed, and then an offensive foul on Georgia. That'll go against Ansel Amibi. First foul on him right now. It's just hard if you're Georgia. If you're not making shots, you can't stop Kentucky. It's going to be real hard to make a comeback here.
I listened to Mike White's press conference this week back home in Athens before they left Kentucky. He knew how good Kentucky was. But he said, hey, we have to catch some breaks, got to make some shots. Ball has to bounce our way. It hasn't really happened tonight.
No, it hasn't. What has happened is more incredible execution by Kentucky's offense. Sheppard on the last dime to Mitchell. Now Reeves on the attack. Reeves all the way. Blocked. Great block by Ansel Amibi. Big Z wheeling and dealing. Missed a dunk, though. He wanted the foul. Here comes Kane on the other end. Abdur-Rahim on a 3. He got fouled. Count the basket. A chance at a 4-point play. And maybe that opens the door a little bit for the Georgia Bulldogs.
And Coach Cal wanted a foul on the spin move by Z. Z with the spin move and didn't finish it at the rim.
He just got teed up.
Here's a spin.
He wants the foul on Ansel Amibi.
I'm going to really age myself. I like a spin move like Earl to Pearl Monroe. We are going all the way back.
You are reliving the 80s as we speak. You start singing some Men Without Hats songs, some one-hit wonder specials. Come on, Eileen, break out the cassette tape. I know it's back in your Camaro back in Missouri.
Camaro. That's a good one. My 67 Mercury Monterey, that's what that was.
Put those parachute pants back in the attic. You're not going to need to wear them anytime soon. Although this morning it would have been a good time for anything that would...
cold here or what?
Oh my goodness.
Although I live in Missouri, it's the same temperature.
1 degree is what we woke up to this morning.
Here's what we like in the Midwest. We like snow in the grass, so the streets are clear.
Yep.
But we do not like the 0 degrees.
Yes.
You get up to 25, you're good. 30, that's fine.
That's right.
Not 0.
Well, it's going to warm up to about 60 by the end of this week here in Lexington.
They'll be in shorts and short sleeve shirts.
That's right. Mitchell carving out space. He gets an and one. Kentucky's offense unstoppable again. Wildcats up big. Well, Coach Cal, I would say mission accomplished. This crowd, as the kids like to say, has been lit here tonight. There's a lot of great home court advantages throughout the Southeastern Conference. None better than Rupp Arena when it's not only full, but the fans are completely engaged. And John Sundvall, that has been what they have been since the opening tip.
They've got a team that they love to watch play. It is entertaining, it's electric, it's exciting. Almost a little old-fashioned basketball the way they pass the ball. They don't do as much. Wagner does, but the rest of them don't do as much off the bounce as we see a lot of teams and players do.
Not a lot of isolation. Guys are popping passes, looking for the open man. Just seems like a different installment of Kentucky offense this year. Abdur-Rahim, he's been the best option tonight. And that's going to be an over-the-back foul. Anselm Eby with his third foul. Anselm Eby, the 6'10" senior out of Lagos, Nigeria. A lot of players come out of Lagos. We've seen a number of players in this league out of that town in Nigeria.
Played his first couple of years at Syracuse, was here last year for Georgia. Valuable minutes as a big inside. 6'10".
Georgia back to the zone. I don't know, how would you try to defend? There's another. Are they going to give him the basket or not? I don't believe they'll give him the basket.
That's his second, team's fifth.
But what I was going to say is, how would you defend this Kentucky offense, John? Because, I mean, no matter what you do, they have an answer.
Well, it all depends on your personnel, obviously. If you're guard-oriented and your guards are solid enough defensively, you just stay in front. You can never get beat off the dribble because it's disaster the way they shoot the ball. I think they're a difficult team to zone because of the movement and the number of guys that can rise up and shoot it with great depth.
They did give Mitchell credit for the basket, so the free throw gives him now 19. Mitchell and Reeves each with 19 to lead the way. Good take by Demery. Mitchell has scored the last 8 points for Kentucky. Mitchell at the free throw line. Wheeling.
Boy, so solid his body.
Kick out pass to a wide open Wagner. That was all Mitchell.
So Mitchell makes the spin, gets the bump. It doesn't bother him. He could have taken the shot. Unselfish play, kicks it out, and they get a 3 instead of a 2.
Foul on Wagner.
Sometimes guys get bumped and it bumps them off the play they're going to make. Not so much with Mitchell.
No, I mean, I'm looking at this clock, John, and I see over 10.5 minutes to go. Kentucky already has 89 points, and it's worth repeating, this is a good Georgia defensive team.
Yeah, they're shooting. Cats are shooting 67%. They've got 22 assists on 34 baskets.
Yeah. And again, that
staggering numbers.
Just staggering numbers all around, and they came in 39% from 3. They're 63% from 3. They get steals, they get blocks.
I mean, if you catch them on a night like Georgia catches them tonight, you're not going to beat them.
No, especially in this building. Now, give A&M credit. I mean, they found just enough to win that game in College Station.
Well, it took terrific performances by Wade Taylor IV and Boots Radford, 31 and 28.
Yeah.
But again, 2 older players, junior and a 5th-year senior, guards against the freshman guards. You know, Wagner had a tough time keeping either of those players out of the paint or getting the jump shot. So how do you beat them? You better have the guys on your side that can do it.
You know, perhaps my favorite number on this Kentucky team, and this is one that might be celebrated a lot more come March, depending on how this team finishes up the year. This team had the lowest preseason ranking of any Coach Cal team in Kentucky. They were number 16 in the country. You think there's 15 teams in America better than Kentucky?
And we know teams get better during the year.
Right.
But when you have the young players like Kentucky, we always know Kentucky gets better just because of the youth they always have. But this team, just every week you watch them, you shake your head.
Yeah. Mitchell to Wagner and out to Reeves.
I mean, that ball moves from one side of the court to the other. You've got the shifting of the defense that as it shifts, then the guy who gets it can come back across the grain like Reeves and come into the paint. Like, there are teams the ball gets stuck on one side or gets stuck up high, or we haven't seen any of that from their offensive side.
No, and how often do you say, oh, that was a bad shot for Kentucky?
Yeah, we haven't said it tonight.
Nope.
89 points, 9 minutes, 43 seconds left.
Reeves, 87%, silky smooth at the free throw line. Monday, SEC Inside grants you an all-access pass to the Lady Vols basketball team. You'll get never-before-seen footage and sound from players and coaches. A real behind-the-scenes look. That's at 9 o'clock Eastern Time right here on the SEC Network. He is John Sunvold. I am Mike Morgan. We thank you for stopping by here on a busy Saturday of hoops on the SEC Network. Coming up later on tonight, we've got Ole Miss at Auburn. I tell you what, I had Auburn the other day, and Bruce Pearl's had a lot of talented teams.
Home or road? You had them.
I had them at home, and as we know, they're much different. They are really scary there. But think about this: they have 10 guys that play 15 minutes or more. 10 of them, and when I say they play 15 minutes or more, meaningful minutes, contributions from all 10 of those guys. I don't know many teams in America that can say that. There's a steal and a breakaway from Melendez, who once again gives the rim a workout. He's played some quality minutes for Georgia. He's got 10.
Athletic, quick, active on the defensive end, can shoot it. Yeah, the Auburn squad has made some statements early in league play.
Yeah, and they don't have necessarily a true star like some of Bruce's other teams with, say, a lottery pick. But 1 through 10, they all make contributions.
Let's be honest, the league is dominated by guards. 14 of the top 15 scores are guards. But you take a Janai Broom, and he does some serious damage on the inside.
No question. Chiwe gets it down low.
Nice pass.
Nice drop off, and a miss that time. No finish by Demery. Sheppard on a drive and kick. Wagner bounce pass to Mitchell. Beautiful. Just putting on a clinic.
Wagner's got a great feel. He's got the ball up front. He's been attacking with that left hand. I know he's right-handed, but he likes to shake and go left.
You were a teammate of his grandfather?
Isn't that crazy? I'm now doing grandkids. He was, Milt Wagner was a teammate of mine, Miami Heat.
Sheppard is perfect. 4 for 4 from downtown. His updated three-point numbers, maybe we can get that. It has to be over 60% at this point, which is beyond insane. So too is this performance by Kentucky. Now, ask and you shall receive. I wanted to see the updated shooting percentages for Reed Sheppard because they're just that good. He is now 56% from the field on the year, 56% from three, 2.5 steals a game, and he does it all in 26.6 minutes per game. Reed Sheppard just lights out.
And tonight it's been quietly done, right? Yeah. He's been in the game. Everybody's talking about Z and Reeves, and you know what? Goes about his business. 19 minutes, 12 points, 4 assists, 2 steals. He's a glue guy, but he's got the ability to not be the glue guy. He can just fire away at any moment.
Yeah, I mean, he does whatever you ask him to do. You want him to play great defense, he gives you steals and blocks. You want him to give assists, he doesn't make many mistakes. And yes, he's got incredible touch from outside. I was talking to Cameron Mills before the game. And Cameron Mills, who's part of some of the pregame show on radio here in Lexington, he was quick to remind me he still holds the record, 52.3% for a single season shooting the three. 52.3. Sheppard right now is 56. So Cameron, if you're watching this back on the DVR, I know you're here.
A lot of seasons. He's saying a lot of seasons.
He's saying there's still some misses left in there. I'm sure he wants Reed to do well.
The nice part for Reed Sheppard is he pretty much can take high quality shots.
Right.
He doesn't have to force any.
Not at all.
Like a lot of guys do. Good hustle.
And that'll be a jump ball, and the arrow will go to Georgia. That'll bring us to a media timeout with 7:27 to play. Kentucky 96, Georgia 68. A statement by the Wildcats tonight. Time now for the Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. Is there any wonder, is there any doubt who it would be and what it would be?
Zvonimir Ivisic. If we're going way deep, let's go back to Pistol Pete style of a pass, right? We've dug back in the bag of tricks, and when I was a kid, we watched Pistol Pete, and You know what? That was almost the first play of the game for him.
Yeah.
Remember, we thought he'd shoot it, and he throws it behind his back about 15 feet out to a teammate.
And Pistol wasn't 7'2", right? I mean, we're not used to seeing centers make the kind of plays that
Pistol also liked to ball fake and then shoot it. Like a ball fake behind the back and then shoot it.
He had everything in his bag of tricks, did he not? If I could go back into a time machine, that's one player I would love to
I got to see him play in the pros. Oh, that's play number 3.
Yep.
Three layups on the underneath out of bounds.
Something to work on. You always want something to complain about after a big win, right?
I'm going to say one of the assistants over there, not sure which one, is uncomfortable about the scout and how he was playing underneath out of bounds. I'm just saying that's how it goes.
Dillingham has it rim off.
So anyway, when I was in high school, Kansas City Kings, the Sacramento Kings were in Kansas City. My political science teacher, Miss Betsy Hall, was season ticket holder. And when Pete Maravich would come to town, she would take me. She had front row seats. So I got to see Pete play a couple times.
Reeves on a triple. That's a pretty cool teacher. I didn't have
it was unbelievable.
Professor that was that cool. We're too busy threatening to give me a lower grade if it wasn't for better attendance, but that's a whole other story.
Well, that's a good thing we were in class. See, we didn't have any online stuff.
Dillingham falling to the floor, gets a dime to Onyenso.
So, Mike, you were here, what's the record for Rupp?
118. We had the game against Marshall. 118 points, the Rupp Arena record. Under Coach Cal, I beg your pardon.
So you can't kneel on the ball in this game, right?
Nope.
There's a shot clock.
Yep.
Pace is still going to go.
Dillingham turns it over. Georgia, numbers, finish.
Like it.
I like foul.
It. I like it. I like guys that play hard. I like guys that are tough. Justin Hill's been terrific, not tonight, but he's had such a good year. Noah Thomason's going to have such a great SEC run. Steal, hands, 2-on-1, share the basketball. If the guy comes to stop you, you give it to your teammate. Justin Hill, if they didn't stop him, you take it in, make the layup.
Also checking in is Sheppard coming out is from Dillingham.
Sheppard back onto the floor. Dillingham heads to the bench.
Quiet night for Dillingham, 15 minutes, but only a couple points.
The three-point play is completed by Thomason. And we mentioned he was the kind of guy that was going to need a big night. Abdur-Rahim certainly has lived up to the billing. 31 points, 7 of 12 from 3, but he hasn't had a ton of help. Demery's played well with 16. I mean, really.
I mean, the tough part is the opponent they're playing has got 98 points.
That's exactly.
Now, if the opponent had 75 or so, I mean, you know, it's a different game.
Yeah, if you're Georgia, you win a lot of games in the 70s, but you're not going to beat Kentucky very often in the 70s.
And because of the pace of the game, Kentucky is going to give up a lot of points.
Chua just tried to muscle his way in, but couldn't do it. Too much resistance by Big Blue. The Rupp Arena record, by the way, for points. Big Z on a 3, and finally showing he's human. And then an offensive foul on Kentucky. The Rupp Arena record, 127 points against Dale Brown's LSU team in 1995.
Wow.
But that, you know, that LSU team, that was a lot of back and forth. I remember Kentucky had one of the great comebacks I ever saw watching it on TV around that time frame. They came back from 30-some-odd down on the road in Baton Rouge and wound up winning the game. Some of those Rick Pitino teams always in the game with the
Dale
three
Brown
ball
squads that will just have tons of guys.
Yeah. See the hoop scoop on Abdur-Rahim and Pops. Pops will be very happy with what Jabri has been able to do tonight with 33 points. Big Z down low, two-hand flush, and then does it chin up on the rim. That's going to get you a technical foul. And Big Z is going to learn that quickly. That doesn't fly in college basketball, but you know what? I don't think he's too worried about it. 13 points now for Big Z.
Yeah, we've talked about getting stat sheet, everything filled up.
100 to 82. Yeah, Abdur-Rahim, by the way, his 34. That's a new career high for him. You scored 34 at Rupp Arena. I know you don't want to remember the result, but I'm telling my grandchildren that regardless.
That's pretty special. When someone will say, hey, Rupp must be a tough place to play. Well, no, it really wasn't. I made some shots.
Yeah, you know.
I had 34 one night.
Hit 7 threes.
He might get to 40.
He might. Not a whole lot of players do, that's for sure. He's been Batman. This is the closest thing to Robin tonight. Demery, the talented freshman out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Regardless of what happens tonight, this is still a Georgia team. It's been a great story. Even if they fall to 3-2 in conference play, they've already got 3 true road victories. They're clearly on a pace to surpass the win total of a year ago, and I would say, depending on how they perform in the next few games, there will be some definite bubble talk if Mike White's team continues to take care of business at home and then steal a couple more on the road.
Yeah, they're right outside. Final 4 in, or I guess the last 4 in, just outside of that.
Of course, this would be a quad 1 loss. It doesn't really hurt your resume too much.
Is it odd for me to think 4:39 left, early down 16. So if they make a couple threes here, and all of a sudden we've got a 190-point. I mean,
crazier things.
Am I
no
insane to think they could change this momentum just a bit with a guy like this?
Well, if Big Z keeps blocking shots, that's going to hurt. And then leading the pack on the break and trying to no-look pass to Reeves. And that one finally drew a little ire from Coach Cal, saying, "Come on now, let's not play so loose. Let's focus, keep the eye on the prize." Yeah, you're going to hear about that one. He did everything right up until the no-look touchbacks.
Yeah, that's when you take the bounce and dunk it.
And then a clear path for Justin Hill.
Solid screen by Chiwa inside, kept Big Z out.
Yep.
Makes an easy layup, clears the lane out like a lineman.
We know one thing, these dogs are not going to lay down.
No. Impressive. They go by road dogs because they've been so good on the road. And how about Wagner?
Just makes everything look so effortless.
And of all the players that you're probably going to give an open look to, that's probably the guy you think, well, he might not make it.
Double-double for Wagner, by the way, 18 points, 10 assists.
Z's now getting a little lesson in how to defend because Chiwa's just taking him out of the play,
right,
which is almost like a double screen in a Wagner. Whoever's guarding the ball, Justin Hill, just got layups.
Yep. Sheppard, finally human, missed that one on the side of the backboard. Good contest by Demery.
Yeah, it might have been partially blocked.
So that'll lower his percentage from 56 to, I don't know, 54.
And the Bulldogs are really playing downhill, trying to just get it to the paint, get it to the rim.
You've got Abdur-Rahim at the bottom of your screen trying to spot up for another 3 if the ball gets there. Instead, it'll be a fade and fire and a hit by Demery. It's a 13-point game, John Sunville.
Demery used his body into Sheppard's body, forces Cal to call a timeout.
Demery's got 20. Dogs are not giving up anytime soon. Things getting interesting here at Rupp Arena. This furious comeback by Georgia. It's a terrific performance by Jabri Abdur-Rahim. 34 points tonight, 7 of 13 from downtown. He's kept the Dogs in it.
It's his leadership that the Dogs will need all season long, and they've used his leadership. His shooting ability outside, now his ability to take it off the dribble, get to the foul line. He's 11 of 13 from the foul line. What he's done this season, because he gets to the foul line, his scoring has improved, and he's made Georgia a better offensive team.
You see some of the guards who have had success this year. That's a pretty good list right there, including a couple of SEC guys, Taylor and Radford, who John alluded to earlier. in that upset win. I think it speaks to the character of this Georgia team and Mike White to never give up. I mean, Kentucky's been having a lot of fun out here putting on a clinic, but here's Georgia saying, hey, we're not done yet. We're going to make a game of this.
The Bulldogs pretty much have their coach's toughness, temperament, right? They're not going away. They're going to fight. I mean, they were down so big, this thing was over.
You're going to love the name I throw at you here in a second.
Here we go.
Because I asked who's got the most points by an opposing player at Rupp Arena.
Pistol?
No, think 1980s big man. 5 on the shot clock for Sheppard. Whips it over to Reeves. Reeves got to get a shot. Back to Sheppard. Dillingham at the buzzer. Back iron and the rebound to Georgia. Here come the Dogs. Thomason. Kick out pass to Hill. Guarded by Sheppard. Demery passed up the 3.
Go to work, big guy. Go to work. You're just trying. Oh,
there's that man. Abdur-Rahim had an open look.
Wow.
We'd love to have that one back.
That'd have been something.
That would have made 37.
So you told me a big man in like what, 80s?
In the 80s.
SEC player or no?
No.
80s big guy. How about the Admiral? David Robinson.
Oh, you're good. Come on now. Are you serious? John Sunvold.
Well, I'm thinking big man at score.
40.
I didn't think Navy played here, but
I didn't know that either. 45 for the Admiral here at Rupp Arena. The last player to get 34 or more, as Abdur-Rahim has, Sindarius Thornwell of the Gamecocks on that Final Four team in 2017. How about them apples? We're just dropping nuggets here in the final 90 seconds.
Been a lot of names.
We're throwing, oh my goodness, we've covered about 50 years of college basketball folklore. Mitchell just doing it so workmanlike. 23 points, nothing to it. What a key pickup he has been out of West Virginia. Of course, Bob Huggins no longer the coach here. That paved the way for him to hit the portal. Rise and fire, mid-range jumper is good for Justin Hill, and a timeout for Mike White. Well, John, let's talk about this Kentucky team. Assuming that they hold on, they would be 4-1 in the Southeastern Conference. And as we mentioned before, we've seen a lot of really talented Cal teams. This one just seems different. It just seems like a team without weaknesses and a whole lot of strengths.
Scary good offensively. Probably have some defensive lapses at times that we know. But offensively, scary good because the number of guys that can handle it, make passes, and make shots. There are some teams that have 2 guys that make shots, 1 or 2 guys handle it. There's a wide variety of guys that can share the basketball, and they're unselfish. And if they can get an up and down game, they're dangerous.
Have we even seen the ceiling yet? I mean, they just got Z there. Bradshaw still working his way into everything. I have to think this team could even get better.
Well, like I said, I think what's great about the SEC or any big conference is that they'll be challenged in this league on the road at certain places. Right? That can they handle some things? But what that does is sets them up for what Sam Bowie said to the crowd when he was talking, that he thinks this team should win a national championship.
Yeah, he said, I don't want to put any pressure on Coach Cal, but this team better win a national championship. Talk about putting pressure.
Cal's going to say, hey, thanks, Sam.
Yeah, thanks a lot. There's Coach Calipari just picking up his 400th victory in 516 games. That's one of the quickest coaches to ever do it at a particular school. Full court pressure by Georgia. Again, you get so many guys great with the basketball to not make a mistake here. And this is one of them, and Sheppard, who draws the foul.
Well, that and great foul shooters.
Yep.
So it doesn't really matter. You're trying to speed them up. You're trying to get a steal, but you've got guys that can handle it and then get, Reeves is 87% from the free throw line. Sheppard 85%. When you have backcourt that can do that and not turn it over much, you pretty much are going to seal games at the end. Just again, as we talk, Sheppard misses a free throw.
Of course.
Should you just not mention free throws, just ever?
You know,
I don't know what happens.
You're talking about a guy at A&M that was smiling at the crowd and had to wait about 90 seconds before he shot him and then calmly sank a pair.
They're down 2. He has an offensive rebound.
Right.
He gets fouled.
Yeah, so guys like him, I don't worry about the jigs. Too good. You know, if he's 58%, then yeah, maybe I'll bite my tongue. I can't help but look ahead to some of the blockbuster matchups as they're taking a look at the last play on review. We'll see what that's all about in a moment. How about at Rupp Arena here on February the 3rd? Tennessee comes here.
So Tennessee, what's interesting about Tennessee, Coach Cal, Tennessee has beaten Coach Cal 15 times. He's 21-15. There's only 2 teams that he has double-digit losses to in his career. One is Temple, had 11 losses against Temple in his career, 13 wins, 11 losses. The only one other than that, and more than that, is Tennessee, 21 wins, 15 losses. So you take an older, veteran Tennessee team that now scores it better because Connect changes their entire game.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a battle, but they've got elder statesmen, which will be tough for this Kentucky, the youth of Kentucky.
If you folks haven't seen Dalton Connect play yet, oh goodness, that is a treat. He is an offensive dynamo at 6'6" with a 3-level game. Shot rims off. That last review, by the way, who the ball was out of bounds on, and obviously Georgia got it back, and Georgia will go back to the free throw line.
Boy, Demery, you know what? He misses a shot. In Kentucky, they got the rebound, but not paying attention. Demery's aggressive, attacking, makes the steal. And then who was it that he attacked at the rim? Was it Mitchell? See Mitchell, lazy pass. It goes right into his body, goes back to the free throw line. He's had a terrific ball game, 20 points tonight. 8 of 9 from the free throw line.
No, he's a good-looking player, no question about that. Look at his background coming out of Raleigh, North Carolina. First Georgia freshman to start the season opener since Anthony Edwards did it back in 2019. And he's been a great performer on both ends of the floor. Future is awfully bright. Mike White's got a great recruiting class coming in as well. And a number of the players you see in a Georgia uniform this year will be back next season.
Well, you think about it, he's got Asa Newell coming in. He's a 5-star who made the USA Men's Nike Hoop Summit roster. Also a couple Kentucky guys. Boogie Flan made it. Jalen Quinton's made it. So big things are happening at Georgia.
This kind of snuck up on me. Georgia has the longest drought of any SEC team in the NCAA tournament. You got to go back to 2015. Well, I am pretty confident that Mike White is going to get him back there sooner rather than later. Pops out for Dillingham. The final 30 seconds of this game. Melendez, how about another slam? He's been giving the rim a workout on seemingly every bucket that he's had. 12 points for Melendez.
Now teaching moments for Mike White, right? That's why he calls timeout, to set some defense, set some pressure, see what they can do. They have not given up in this second half when they were absolutely getting blown out. The toughness that they've shown. We were talking about maybe record points for Kentucky.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened.
Georgia's actually on a 6-0 run of their own. They've hit 5 out of the last 7 field goals. Georgia's certainly going to be a force to be reckoned with. And they'll leave Lexington and get ready to go back to Stegman Coliseum and take on LSU next week before a road game in Gainesville against the Florida Gators, one of 2 against Florida.
In all of these matchups, Mike, I don't know who the favorites are. Right? LSU, Georgia's a great matchup. Florida, Georgia's a great matchup. Georgia or LSU, Florida. I mean, they're all Florida plays tonight at Missouri.
Yeah.
Well, they're all, who knows? I mean, there's a couple at the top we know that are really good.
Right. I mean, the overwhelming majority of the time, because this league is so deep and there's so many good teams, the home team's going to be favored.
Yeah,
right?
you pick the home team.
If you pick the home team, that's going to be the safe bet. Very few teams are going to be a favorite on the road in the SEC this year.
And can you go on the road and get a win? We've seen Georgia get a couple in the league already. We saw South Carolina today go to Arkansas, get a win. We saw LSU couple weeks ago go to A&M and get a win on the road.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing to do.
Who's going to win a game in Knoxville? Who's going to win a game in Auburn? I mean, these are just brutal places to play. Rupp Arena, certainly. The only team that won a game here this year, UNC Wilmington, of all people. The Wildcats, if they hold on, will improve to 10-1 at Rupp Arena. Georgia, meanwhile, has outscored Kentucky 33-16 in the last 10 minutes.
Full court pressure, but they're not fouling. Just setting up a defense to see what they can do and how they can do it. Sheppard good with the basketball.
To Dillingham.
Mike White does not want his guys to foul.
Well,
a great effort by these Bulldogs, but impressed with what Kentucky can do.
Incredibly impressed by Kentucky. So many memorable performances tonight. I think it's safe to say the guy that still stole the show, even though he only played a few minutes, Big Z. I mean, what Big Z did in the first 5 minutes of action will be remembered around here for a long time to come. Kentucky wins it by a final of 105-96. The Cats are now 4-1 in the SEC. For John Sunville and our entire SEC network crew, Mike Morgan saying so long. We send you now to the studio.
Time now to welcome him into the show. Zvonimir Ivisic joining us now. Look, we know we're going to talk to you a lot, okay, over the coming year or years. So first things first, pronounce your first and last name for us so we never get it wrong.
Zvonimir Ivisic.
Zvonimir Ivisic.
One more time.
Zvonimir Ivisic.
Okay. Beautiful. What was it like the first shot you took and made in front of the 20,000 people in your first game at Rupp Arena?
To be honest, I was nervous. I was really nervous. So when it went in, I was happy, and I don't know. That's it. I was excited. It was fun. I enjoyed it. That's it.
When you found out you were going to be eligible to play, what was the message from Coach Cal to you?
We cried. We both cried, and then
I love that.
And then we started jumping in his office. That's it.
Ivisic, who jumped? Did you jump in Cal's arms or did Cal jump in your arms? So, like, how did that go?
Nah, I just started jumping because I was happy and excited. I just started jumping like crazy.
Okay, now I have to ask you, playing in Croatia, growing up playing there, playing against other pros, did it prepare you for a moment like this with the crowd and the atmosphere and the competition? How did it prepare you for the competition of SEC play?
Well, I think it prepared me pretty good. I was feeling confident. Tonight, I had a really fun time. I think I was prepared pretty good.
Yeah. There's no question about it.
No.
So we saw a little bit of everything. We saw you hit the three. We saw some passing. We saw some steals. We saw an elbow. Okay. And we saw you hang on the rim after a dunk. What's your most memorable moment from this first game?
I don't know, just teammates being proud of me and happy for me because I played, I became eligible, and that's it.
We're all happy for you, buddy.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Hey, congratulations to you, man. We look forward to watching you and talking more about you and this team.
Thank you,
Let's go,
appreciate
Big Z.
you.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.